Okay, you're being recorded now.
Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the multi-region call. This is Sunday, the 5th of June. So excited because we have 3 regions on the call tonight. Can't wait. Woohoo! Different ages. So we've got the different, on your slideshow when you do the different generations. And we're going to talk through our journeys. So introducing, we've got Regional Vice President Lorraine Wesselby. And she to region as at the end of January 2015. So Lorraine's going to be talking about her journey, her strengths, and also giving her top 6 tips to summarize at the end with questions at the end for all of us. And then, so we've also got the amazing Regional Vice President Daniela Wells, and she's going
Hi everyone! Hi!
And she's going to do exactly the same thing. So Danny promoted June 2015 to region, and she's going to be sharing with you her strengths and also taking you through her journey and her top 6 tips. And then obviously myself, the same thing as well. But kicking off tonight, we're going to woo! We're going to Danny Wells, you little monkey. I'm going to start with you, Danny, because you obviously got ants in your pants. You're raring to go. So, Danny, can we pass it over to you and just share with us why you're so excited right here, right now?
Okay. I'm just going to...
I hear you, Danny.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Go out. Really weird issue that when.
She's talking about her.
So can you still hear me?
You just dropped back out. You're back in now. I know you're talking about internet issues, though, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Can you not hear me?
Yeah, you're back in. You're back. Dropping in and out.
Oh, for goodness sake. Okay, I'll try and do my best. Is this okay?
Yeah, we're in. We're good.
Okay, let me know then if I start dipping out. So my name is Danny Wells. Yeah, and so basically, in a nutshell, I used to work in ophthalmology for 7 years. That was what I built my career in. And I've got 2 little daughters who I'm actually really glad that they're going back to school and preschool tomorrow because they're driving me a bit bonkers after this week being on half term. But my 2 little girls came along and everything changed for us. Life completely changed. My youngest daughter was born with a severe brain hemorrhage and a stroke, and it left her with quite a lot of damage to her brain. And it meant that a lot of her time was spent in hospital and needing around-the-clock care. So I had to give up my career to become her full-time carer. Now, that was great that I was able to do that. But when I did leave my career to be Ivana's full-time carer, I lost, obviously, my income. So that was gone every month. I lost a big part of my identity. I lost having as much fun as what I used to have. And it just changed just so much in my life. So I was looking for something else, but the problem is when you leave your job to take care of an elderly relative or a child or take care of somebody, you have that massive time constraint. So I wasn't able to do anything that was like your typical 9 to 5, because if I did that, if I gave up my time to do the 9 to 5 job somewhere and be employed by somebody, who would look after my daughter, who would take one of my daughters to school, who would take my youngest daughter in and out of hospital? It just was an impossible situation. So I was looking for something else, and I didn't know what, because I didn't have any skills. And my friend actually introduced me to Arbonne a few days after she had started her business, so she was really new as well. And it just, although I didn't fully understand Arbonne, I knew it was what was going to help our family. So I'm going to go through a few little things and a little bit of information that I've picked up over the last 2 years. Fiona, is my signal okay?
All good.
Is it good? Okay. I'll just keep talking and then hopefully it won't dip out. So I've made some notes. I'm only going to talk about 10 minutes. And like these guys said, I've then put down my 6 top tips. So what I'm just going to talk about is over the past 2 years, I have learned so much in Arbonne, And it's just been the most amazing journey. And when people start their business with me, I say to them, look, Arbonne is phenomenal. Like when you hit the highs, it's like nothing else you've ever imagined. But the lows with any business are lows, and you will have dips. But this business is just incredible, and it's just a roller coaster worth being on. Highs or lows, it's just worth being on. So I put together a little bit of information that I've learned, and I've sort of put it together along thinking about how to build a business that generates 40,000 QVs a month and beyond. So I'm beyond to nation, really. So what it comes down to, I think, is where we invest our time. So every single human being on this call right now has 24 hours in their day. Every single person has 24 hours in a day. So what the question is where do we invest our time? Fiona, good thinking, note taking. Invest our time. Put down invest time. Where do I put it? So we all have 24 hours in a day, but we all choose where we can invest that time. And so the biggest word for me when it comes to Arbonne and life in general, I've got my whiteboard, is impact. So that's the biggest word for me, impact, okay? Now, impact for each person can vary. So for some people, having an impact on that 24-hour might mean having more income. So you might use some of your hours to impact your life to have more income. Some people might use some of their hours in their 24 of a day to impact and have more free time. Some people might use their hours to impact to help more charities, to be able to give more time, give more money. Some people might use their time to impact and help others. We all have very, very different reasons on how we want to use our time to impact, but ultimately we all want to impact. We all want to use our hours to impact on something, okay? So it got me thinking about what is a business, okay? So a business, I think, is basically a person that has a need or a want. So somebody has a need or a want, and then a business is the solution to that need or want, okay? So in my opinion, every single business I've ever come across is a solution to somebody's need or want, and then there's this gap in the middle, and the gap in the middle is where you guys as entrepreneurs come in. The entrepreneur is the person that comes up with the idea that sets up the business. So business, in my opinion, is a solution at the end here to somebody's need or want, and the gap in the middle is the idea that an entrepreneur has come up with, or like us guys, we're entrepreneurs because we do Arbonne. So who fills this gap in the middle? So that is somebody that wants to invest some of their hours to do this middle bit. Who wants to invest some of their hours a day? We've all got 24 hours a day. Who wants to invest some of their hours a day to impact by being this middle person to connect somebody's need or want to a business that provides a solution? So for me, I did want to give up maybe 1 or 2 hours a day to provide people with their need or want to a solution. That's basically what I do. That's basically what we do in Arbonne. We impact with some hours of our time. We invest some of the hours of our time to provide a solution for somebody's need or want. Okay, so some examples of people that have chosen to fill that gap are, these are just some examples, are hairdressers. So hairdressers have decided to train to cut people's hair and style people's hair and colour people's hair because they realise that there's a need or a want for people that want to feel great about their hair. So a hairdresser fills that gap. Their business is providing a solution to somebody's need or want. Next one, cleaner. Okay, a cleaner has decided to dedicate some of their hours a week or hours a day to provide that service for somebody because they're providing a solution for somebody's need or want. So as soon as I hit area manager in Arbonne, I got a cleaner. And do you know what? It was the best thing I ever did because she takes so much pressure off me cleaning my house. I can spend my time doing Arbonne. She cleans my house for me. I pay her to do that. And it's an investment of my money that I'm happy about. I'm so happy about that. And she's happy, she's getting paid. Another one, a childminder. A childminder gives up some of their time to provide a solution to somebody's need or want, which is childcare. And then you've got taxi driver and then Tyler. These are just some examples. Now, everywhere you look tomorrow, look, what do people do for a job? What are they doing to invest their time into providing a solution for somebody's need or want? And it'll get your mind thinking a little bit. Now, many people do start their business to fill this gap. So they invest some of their hours to fill this gap for people. But what is it that makes them successful? Because you can't just decide one day to fill that gap, invest some of your hours into providing a solution for people's needs or wants. There must be more to it. There absolutely is. So some things I've written down is, number one, they must have a willingness to learn from no knowledge. Okay, so if somebody decides one day they want to be a hairdresser, there will be a point where they don't have any knowledge about hairdressing. So there has to be a willingness to learn the information. When I started Arbonne, I had zero knowledge about health, about wellness, about beauty, about business, zilch. But I had a willingness to learn from no knowledge. So we absolutely have to have a willingness to learn, okay? Number two, when someone starts a business, they must have a willingness to make what you do known to others. So essentially that's through word of mouth. So if you decided one day to be a childminder and none of your friends or family had children, you wouldn't then say, well, I can't fulfill my dream of being a childminder because I don't know anybody with children. So how can I provide that service? That just wouldn't happen. The same if you were a tiler. You wouldn't decide to fulfill your dream of being a tiler and then say, well, I don't know anyone that wants their bathroom tiling. Like, they've already got it done. You would fulfill your dream anyway, and then you would build upon that client base with people that you don't know. So you need to have a willingness to spread the word about what you do. You don't have to rely on your friends and family to want what you have to offer. So you have to have a willingness to accept that you're going to have to spread the word about your service to people that you don't know, which basically is the cold market, okay? Number three, you must have a willingness to improve upon which are part of the process, okay? They are just part of it, and you have to have a willingness to accept that, yes, you're going to fall flat on your face, you're going to be humiliated, you're going to be embarrassed, but you know, you're going to laugh about it afterwards, and you really, really will. So you have to have a willingness to feel like, if I fall over and I fail, it's okay. And then number four, starting your own business, in whatever you want to start it in, you have to have a willingness to make life easier or more enjoyable for people, and that will build a loyal, happy client base. So with Arbonne, we have to have a willingness to make other people's lives easier, our PCs, our clients. Let's make their life as easy as possible or more enjoyable. And the same with our business builders. And if you're coming back to a different business, let's say a taxi driver, how can a taxi driver make other people's lives easier or more enjoyable? Maybe aircon if it's a day like today, who knows? But that's what you have to have, a willingness to make other people's lives easier or more enjoyable. So why would somebody invest their time to take on being the person who fills that gap in the market in a health, wellness and beauty industry? So why would we decide to be that middle person and fill this gap in the health, wellness and beauty advice, consultant, network marketing industry? Why would we decide to do that? So the reason why could be, there's many different reasons, but some of the reasons why could be because we want better health for ourselves or to spread the awareness on better health for others. I've sponsored some people and that's their top priority. They might have had a family member that's had a diagnosis of something truly horrendous and they just want to spread the word on more health awareness. It might be skincare. They might personally have had issues with their skincare for years and years and years, and they've found Arbonne and it's just transformed them. It's made them happier. It's made them be able to leave the house without having to cover up, and they might want to spread the awareness on that. It might be hair care. It might be cosmetics. It might be household everyday items that we all use. It might be financial reasons. It might be that they want more holidays. It might be the car. You know, a lot of people do want a nice new car. It might be the legacy that they get to leave behind. It might be charity and volunteer work. If you have a successful Arbonne business, you therefore have more time and more money to dedicate to volunteer work and charity work. It might be to inspire and help other people, or it might be an emotional need to feel a part of a huge community and the recognition as well. So being an inspiration and supporting others to succeed. These are just some of the reasons that I personally hear from people that I sponsor into my business, into my network, and join our team. You know, I listen to what they want. So people are willing to either pay money for these things, for this service that you provide. So if that's linking back to the product, people are willing to pay money for good health, good skincare, good household family items. Sun care as well is on the rise. People are on the rise now for paying for good quality sun care. Or they want to invest some of their own time to have these things. So for me, it was all about the business. I was willing to invest some of my hours a day to fill that gap, to build this business. Okay, so are you willing to be the person to fill that gap? Because I tell you right now, if you're not, somebody else will. Okay, that gap is there to be filled. If you're not filling it, that's okay, but just accept that somebody else will be. I know if I didn't say yes to Arbonne, somebody else would have filled my gap, and all of the team that I've built and the clients that I've built would have been in somebody else's had I not said yes and gone for this business. So, so a couple of other things that I've got is to keep your business open like it's Amazon. So when you start your Arbonne business, you have to think of your Arbonne business like it's an Amazon business. Now, Amazon do never decide to close for a couple of weeks and then the next week they're open and then the next week they're closed. They're always open 24/7. If you send Amazon a message, it might take them a few hours to reply, but they do always reply. So make sure you're treating your www.arbonneinternational.name business, your website, like it's an Amazon business. Okay, keep it open. I'm not saying you have to reply to every single message like straight away, but make sure you are replying on a daily basis. And you're helping your clients, you're helping them shop. Treat it like it is an Amazon business. Help build your client base and help teach, share, mentor and coach others to open their own shop like it's a franchise, like they paid £200,000 for a franchise, and support them to build their own client base and to teach others. So they're all the things that I've sort of put down onto paper to cram into 10 minutes. Do you want me to do my 6 tips now or afterwards?
Do it now, Danny.
Okay, so these are my 6 top tips. Okay, so tip number 1, always be kind. Build team culture and spirit. Okay, that's my biggest tip, and that's why it was number 1. Always be kind. If you're kind, everything will be fine in the end. I promise you. Okay, always be kind. Number 2, always be grateful. Don't compare yourself to other people and feel bitter. If somebody's doing something that their strength is in, and you think, oh my gosh, I wish I was as good as that, then what you should do is congratulate them and actually ask them how they did it. So I'll give you an example. Fiona is remarkable at building a client base. That's my weakness. So instead of me being bitter about it and me being like, oh, she builds all these great clients, I ask her, I say, Fiona, how do you do it? Like, let me come along to trainings. Let me listen to how you do it. So instead of comparing and being bitter, fine, ask them, say your strength is where I want my strength to be. How the heck do you do it? And do it that way. So that's my tip number 2. Tip number 3, always make it fun. Giggle a lot in this business, because the main reason people stay in Arbonne is for the fun. I tell you that now, okay? People might be earning thousands of pounds a month, but if they're not having fun, they're not going to stay. I promise you that. I promise you now, people stay for the fun. I cannot emphasize that enough. So make sure you're always giggling. Things are fun. Yes, there will be low times. Yes, there will be times where you literally are like, oh my gosh, can I do this? But ultimately, the fun times have to oversee the low times and the bad times, okay? Number 4, see failure or mistakes as ordinary, as children learning to read and mixing up letters and sounds, okay? It's part of the process. You learn more from the mistakes. Having 2 children myself, watching them learn to read, I've watched them learn failing to read much more than I've actually heard them successfully read yet. But that's how they learn. And I watch my children learning to read and making all these mistakes and writing their A's the wrong way round and mixing up all these different letters. But I think actually they're learning to read. And that's the same as building an Arbonne business. It's okay to make mistakes and to mix things up and to get it wrong. Don't paralyze yourself thinking I need to be perfect at this business. Just do it, make the mistakes, you'll learn much more from it. Number 5, put energy into Arbonne, okay? Help others and it will come back to you. Don't sit back and never help side teams or help others, okay? Have an abundant mindset and give everyone information on your strengths and what you can add. So just imagine if everybody knew one Arbonne product inside out thoroughly, every single thing about it, but they kept it to themselves, okay? No one shared that. You only know that one Arbonne product. But then imagine if everybody knew one Arbonne product inside out thoroughly, and then they taught everybody else about that one strength that they had. we would be an amazing team full of information. Okay, so regardless to network, always treat Arbonne consultants like we're one big team. We are one big team, have an abundant mindset and share. Everybody's got different strengths, so share those strengths with other people and just be open to sharing. And number 6, my final top tip is, remember, doing Arbonne is is many things. Sorry, doing Arbonne is many things, but you want to focus on IPA, which is income producing activity. IPA, income producing activity, is sharing with somebody information on products, either as a client for them or products as a business for them to turn an expense into an income and fill in the gap that we were just talking about, making recommendations for impact. Reading books, going to DAs, trainings, Facebook posts, networking are all fabulous, but they are not IPA. They are not income producing activities. Okay, they will not see your QV go up. So posting on Facebook how fabulous Arbonne is great, absolutely brilliant. But without income producing activity, it's basically like posting about how amazing it is to teach and train people to exercise as a PT instructor and all of the amazing health benefits, but not having one single client or be building a client base or even yourself be doing what you say or claim is so fabulous. Okay, so if you're going to post on Facebook, read it back before you click post or submit and think, okay, does this inspire people? Does it make people feel judged, uneasy, uncomfortable, sad, worthless or wrong? If it does, don't post it. Okay, we are not all perfect, so just be mindful about what you post. Okay, so those are my top 6 tips. I know that was crammed into a really short space of time. I hope that was okay, guys.
It's amazing. Woo! Love it, love it. And if I don't know anybody who shares more than you do, Daniela Wells, you share everything. I mean, sometimes things we don't really want to know or see, but it's okay because we love you. Right, I'm actually, because we are running out of time and everyone knows me, well, Lorraine kind of, but I would like Lorraine to go next, and I'm probably going to sit this one out because we are going to go over. And I would love, because Lorraine being really the guest, I know we're all sharing this. Would you mind stepping in now and doing your lovely drink?
No, I'll leave time for you. So yes, for those of you I've yet to meet, I am Lorraine Wesselby and Independent Consultant, Regional Vice President. So for my team on here, this will be really dull because you know my story, but I know a lot of you guys don't. So because I'm kind of doing the baby boomer section, it really is, you know, appropriate. And I was born in 1961, so I fit in there. But I was really, really lucky because I had my dream job. And I know I'm lucky because so many people never have their dream job. And I set up my fashion design and manufacturing business in 1982. Now, the one thing I knew, and all you youngsters in Arbonne probably always knew, you wanted to work for yourself. But in my day, a lot of people didn't work for themselves. So I, at the age of 21, you know, really stuck my neck out there. But I wanted to be in control of my own future. So I started with just me. And then, like you do with Arbonne, I built up an amazing team. I loved the team that worked with me. I absolutely did in every way. You know, and I also bought commercial property at a young age, and I designed a bespoke range for the red carpet for clients like J.K. Rowling. I also designed wedding dress collection, both bespoke and ready to wear, featured in Cosmopolitan, Vogue, etc., etc. And I also created a women's wear that I had manufactured. So, you know, I was a really busy person doing lots of things, and life was amazing. The 80s and 90s, you know, we were kind of a bit wild like Danny is now. We were wild back then. So, you know, it was just absolutely fantastic, and we never thought things would change. But, you know, my ongoing back problems got worse, bending, making all the patterns and doing all the specialist parts of my job. But also things started to get manufactured so much cheaper abroad, so the profit margins were getting less and less, and also overheads were going up, so profits were going down, overheads were going up, but I couldn't find staff with the skill sets, nor those willing to earn them. So we were all just working harder and harder. So it became time to wind up my business around about 2010. And I was feeling like a hamster on a wheel. And there's so many baby boomers out there that feel like hamsters on a wheel, you know, but we were just working so much harder. So I kept on the style image consultancy business, but it was the manufacturing side that really paid me all the money. So I knew I needed something else that was going to fit in and take up that slack on that full-time salary. And, you know, for people, when you're looking at baby boomers, if any of them have businesses, this is something that was once said. Often in a traditional business, you can't afford to stop, but you can't afford to keep going. And my dad said that. Sadly, he passed away about 18 months ago. But he was a really smart businessman. And when I was 14, I didn't know what he meant with that. But, you know, it gets to a stage you can't afford to keep going because it's costing you with those sort of hamster on a wheel traditional businesses. But you can't afford to stop because you usually get 60 days credit with any company. So what happens when you come to wind up, you've got to pay all that money without more money coming in, and you've also got staff redundancies. Now that's a big cost, and by the time you pay the tax and the VAT, it generally costs you a lot of money to wind up a business. To the tune of about $250,000. Thank you very much. So bang went the savings, you know, some financial restructuring, and people forget about that. So if you're looking at baby boomers with businesses, it's a really good thing to remember that the cost of winding up a business is really scary. And sometimes people stay in those businesses because they can't see a way out. And that's where you as Arbonne consultants can make a huge, huge difference. You see, you know, once you've made that decision, it's right, what are you going to do going forward? And I knew one thing, although keeping on the smaller part of my business, I absolutely knew that I didn't want to open up at a set time. I didn't want to close at a set time. I didn't want to be restricted to the hours that the public always want. Now, here we have an online business. Our customers can shop and they don't know that we're at the gym, or maybe you've got your kids at swimming or ballet, or maybe you're having a pedicure, because your online shop, as Danny said, is open like Amazon 24/7. So for lots of people that have been in traditional businesses, I'm absolutely certain that an online business that gives them time, flexibility and freedom, where they can work from their PJs, you know, their gym gear, a posh dress, on a beach, you know, making money that recurs and recurs. And I think once you get that over to people, then that's absolutely super. And the reason I love fashion was I was very creative, but what I really loved, and this is where the comparison is to Arbonne, and I think you need to find that when you're looking at people with businesses or in another job, I loved making people feel and look special. I loved it that if somebody thinks they look good, and you know that when people lose weight or they put on great makeup or skincare or have their hair done or whatever it is someone does, when somebody thinks they look good, they feel good. And I loved making people feel great. I loved it. And like Danny said, you know, my team, you know, we were known as the House of Gin. In fact, I don't know if anyone ever watched The House of Elliot. We used to call ourselves internally the House of Idiot that drank a lot of gin. And so it has to be a really, really fun environment, you know. And in getting to Region, you know, although it's a serious business, we had fun along the way. And a lot of people know I spoke in the gardens out loud. You know, people would pop behind the trees at 7:30 in the morning. But if you don't personally believe where you're going, so if you're on this call and you're going to region or area or district or whatever you're going to, if you don't believe you deserve it and you can do it, you're not going to do it. You're not going to convince anyone on your team that you're going for it. I absolutely knew we were going to do it, and I love every single team member that got behind me because it is a team effort. And I knew that from before, from having my own team. When you all work well together and you've all got that common goal, whether it's to finish that very special outfit because they're getting married in a couple of weeks' time and it was a late order, or whether it's that you're going for the QV of district, area, region or nation, you have to do it as a team. It's a 100% team effort. So, right, moving on. So tonight it's my pleasure to share with you information that might help you with sponsoring baby boomers. And also I want to talk about the importance of keeping communication and relationships flowing. So baby boomers, well, you know, were born between 1946 and 1964. Most of our pensions are worth about this, literally a fraction of what we thought. And also, people are now being challenged with, do they want to work on until they're 70, or you have to work until you're 70, and they don't want to do that. Now, this is true with baby boomers. Most people of my age, baby boomers, can't be bothered putting the effort in to getting a network marketing business going. And I know that sounds awful that I'm a baby boomer and saying it, but honestly, it's the best policy. And there is a reason for this, because many of them will have spent many hours, maybe 70 hours a week, possibly even in those corporate jobs going, and they've already given what they feel that they had to give. Breaking up. Can you hear? One sec. Can you guys still hear me? You can hear me now?
Yes. Yeah, I can now.
You can hear me now, right? Okay, sorry about that. So yes, as I was saying, a lot of people my age group probably can't be bothered getting a network marketing business going because they've given all those hours in their previous corporate jobs or their own businesses. But those that can will really go for it, and they'll need it, and they'll go for it because they absolutely know that pension is not going to be worth what it is. But there is something about the baby boomers. Whether you get them on the business, and if you get them on the business, you're going to have to work probably a bit harder to help them get going, unless they're like me and they just kind of have to learn it themselves. But they're going to want the products, because let's face it, we're the older little devils. You know, we're getting so much older, so we are used to paying out good money for products that we think are going to make our wrinkles go away. And let's face it, in the shops they don't work, but with Arbonne they do. So that's a really, really good thing. But you have to pitch it, if you know this person can do the business and you're prepared to work for them, you have to pitch it that they can still have time for Zumba, lunch with their friends and the holidays, because they're not going to be prepared to give up every minute of their time. So make sure that you're absolutely pitching it right to them as far as that's concerned. The hurdles to overcome are often to do with technology, and I also, like Danny, have internet where it keeps telling me my internet's not stable tonight. So, but we're not great with technology. I didn't even have a computer till I was in my late 40s. So if you know they're going to be great, work with them. You know, everyone laughs that I thought URL was something you needed to take antibiotics for. I didn't realize you could copy and paste something and get on the internet. So if you really have those baby boomers, work with them, you know, and don't get impatient. If you're on a baby boomer team, don't get impatient if they're not doing something as fast. We really, really do get panicky about things. When you than that, we just don't see it as fast as you. It doesn't mean we don't care, and it doesn't mean we're not on it and we don't want to help you. But just sometimes think, you know, these people didn't grow up with technology. So for me recently, to go on Zoom, manage to get a PowerPoint presentation, do the presentation, talk over the new slides, record it on Vimeo, upload it onto Facebook for the team, that was way out my comfort zone, but I had to do it for my team. It took me a whole afternoon to do. I could have prospected half of Edinburgh, but it was important to do it. So please have patience with them, and don't give up on them because of their computer skills. In fact, I wasn't even on Arbonne at all, you know, when I joined. So as I say, don't give up on us. And if you're going for baby boomers and they're over 60, go for the women, not the men, because the women are more likely, and I'm not being sexist here if you're a guy on here, but the women are more likely to be more adaptable to change over 60 than women. I read that than men. I read that in a survey recently. Doesn't go for them all, but just, you know, a bit of a note. So moving on, the communication of relationships. This is absolutely important. So if you prospect someone and they say no, it might be someone you know really well or someone you don't know very well at all. So you prospect them and say no. Don't disappear for 5 years or however long it is. Two things. They'll think you only spoke to them because you wanted to join your team. Well, if you like them enough to want to speak to them in the first place, you should be commenting on their Facebook page, getting involved in chat, sending them a message, a happy birthday message, meeting them for a coffee, how are their kids, because we're not shallow, we're people who care. And so be that person that cares. You know, somebody is on this Zoom tonight who I've known since she was 9. She said no to me about 4 years and she's now joined. She sent me the message. It didn't mean I loved that person any less because they said no. And so, you know, it's one of those things. Keep absolutely in communication. You know, people are watching you and they're watching what we do. So really in your business, what you're going to have to be is a bit of a trollop. So I don't know whether that's a Scottish word or a kind of UK word, but anyway, it means that we're going to be courting several people at once. We're going to be 2-timing or 3-timing or 4-timing. So you're going to have the people that say no, and that's fine. You know, you're not going to sit there in a chair hanging around for ages thinking, are they going to say yes next week or the week after or the week after? Keep courting lots of people, and if you're on a circle, not a hamster on a wheel that becomes a bit of a chore, that really nice social circle of courting people and going back and how are you doing, how are the kids, and you've got all those threads of conversations going, you're going to have people saying yes along the way, and people are going to just see that you're a really nice person that people want to engage with and be with, you know, and our job is always to be there for them. So 2 things there tonight. The baby boomers, yes, you know, we can be a bit challenging and not all of us are going to put the effort in, but those that really want it will, and work with them and don't give up on the fact that they're not maybe as technical as you. You know, maybe they prefer to have a phone call. You know, it takes me about half an hour to send a text this big, whereas I can do it all 2 minutes on the phone. So kind of think about your communication if you really want them, and as I say, be there for them. So that's just some things that for you to think about, because I know we're all 3 different generations, and I'm going to wrap up onto my tips because I would like Fiona to do her bit. So my number 1 tip is smile. And I know that sounds really simple. I decided to do different ones from Danny because she's Gen Y, I'm Gen, you know, baby boomer. So smile and be the person that everyone wants to engage with. Miserable people will attract miserable people. You know, so we do attract what we put out there. So if you always look doom and gloom, you're going to attract doom and gloom. If you look negative, you're going to attract negativity. So it's all about that smile. I think it was Eric Worre said, if he smiles at someone and they don't smile back, they failed number 1 stage of his interview process. And that's true. Would you want to work with someone who doesn't smile back? Okay. So we're a people-to-people business, number 2. So put yourself in situations where you get to know people. Okay, so there's no point, and yes, you can do, I know Danny's, but a lot of our business ads have others, you know, online and chatting to people, but your smile doesn't always come across there. So do a mix. So do your social media, your online, you know, your bits, but also get out there and meet people, because there's nothing, well, but if you're actually on that quarter pitch, you're going to get that gut experience. So absolutely put yourself in situations. So join groups, events, new hobbies, whatever. So get out there, people to people. Obviously, I'll put this in the middle, number 3, network marketing. You know, if you're here and you think, well, you know all about network marketing, well, you may know what the word is, but trust me, there's a lot more to it than just saying, oh, I'm a professional network marketer, and you don't know that it's going to take you 4 years. Be honest with people. Don't say, oh yeah, you can join this business and tomorrow you'll be an NDP, because it ain't happening. And you are where you are because of the skills you've learned. You're there because of the skills you've learned, the knowledge you have. So if you're serious, learn about the industry. You know, let's face it, you know, if you're a basketball coach, you'd have to go and learn about basketball, etc., etc., etc. So number 4 is about building your team with that mix. So build your team right across the board with baby boomers, with Gen X and Gen Y. So on my team, we are literally, well, we were 20 last week, but we're now 21. One of the girls was 21. So we're 21 to 67. You know, and you want that mid-range, don't you? Because they'll all bring different skill sets. Like Danny said, you know, if one person knows the product perfectly and someone else does, then you get to know about them all. But you might get somebody young goes in a panic and someone said no, and I'm going to go and cut my head off and I'm not coming out for the next month. Whereas an older person's probably had 3 million people say no to them in their previous job. So they're going to pat them on the back and say, you know what, there's plenty more fish in the sea, don't get upset. So you're going to have people with different emotional sort of skills along the way with those different generations. So number 5, don't take yourself too seriously. Well, we know Danny's been on 3 million fist sticks in just probably one glass, and she's not taking herself seriously. And yes, it's a serious business, but we don't have to be so serious that people think, oh my goodness, I don't want to do that, they're too serious. I mean, look at those people that wander around in jobs. They've all got grey suits on with those shirts that all went in the wash with their jeans, and they've become grey, and they've got a kind of bit of a kind of unflattering tie on, and there's nothing about them. I call them greyish. Don't be a greyish person. So don't be that greyish person, you know, that is all doom and gloom. So don't take yourself seriously. And number 6, and this is key if you're going to any level, and it should be key anyway, but be the very best person on your team. That is without a doubt, because why would somebody do something if you're not going to do it? So I would never, ever, ever ask any of my business partners on my team to do something that I am not willing to do. I might ask them to do something that I don't know how to do, and can they show me? And they might have to show me 7 times if it's to do with technology. But then there's other things that people can ask me 25 times. I had a girl work for me for 15 years. She asked me the same question every single morning. And every morning I answered it with, yes, Linda, this is what to do. And I've highlighted it in green on your sheets. 15 years later, she said to me, I never look at the pictures at the back of the measurements. I said, you mean you make all these outfits up and you never look at my drawing to see what it's to turn out like? She went, no. And you know what? The outfits were great, but it would have made her life easier. So, you know, it's one of those things, isn't it? Be the best person you can, and be the best person on your team, because people will want to follow you if they know that you're absolutely putting in the effort. So just a few tips. I shall have my questions later, but over to Fiona.
I love it. Oh my God, Lorraine, that was so funny. It was awesome. And we loved that. We were laughing our heads off. Loved it. It was brilliant. Thank you. And can I just say, I can see that people on chat has gone from 30 to 45 since you've been training. So a lot of people are loving your training. Super, super. Okay, so I'm just going to keep mine as short as I can, which is this is my challenge, guys. And it's so funny, we're talking about leadership, and we're talking about growth and our knowledge that we can share with you, helping you move forward in your business. So I'm, funny enough, reading the tools, and I know most of you read this book, and it always, every time I'm training, or things are always happening when I'm reading it. Do you get that, where you just think, you know what, actually, this is happening right here in the present? And it says about the biggest difference between those who succeed and those who fail at any endeavor is their level of commitment. Most people would like to be committed, but in practice, commitment requires an endless series of small, painful actions, okay? And what do I mean by painful actions? Because there's this necessary pain that we have to do and we have to go through in Arbonne. And both Danny and Lorraine have touched on this tonight. And it's, you need to do this to achieve your goals. None of us like it. We haven't got here because we've enjoyed the process. Like Danny says, there's ups and downs, but is it the pain of regret? Or is it the pain of discipline? If you've heard that before, what are you going to choose? Because we get a choice in the present moment, 24 hours a day, to do income-producing activities and to fuel ourselves and give ourselves, I call it Mercedes moment. Maybe you want to make it Maltesers moment. I don't know, picking that phone up, doing that one thing you keep wanting to put off because you don't want to do is the main thing that you have to do. So, for example, necessary pain is the kind you must go through to achieve your goals. And if you're a salesman or saleswoman, rejection is necessary pain. And I think, to me, that's the biggest thing, and that we need to get over ourselves. And I love that, Lorraine, when you sort of said about the fact that, if you went to somebody and got a no, you went to them because you liked them. And it doesn't matter. Don't leave it 2, 4, 5 years. Go back again and see where they're at, because you're there because you care for them. And that's why you're going there again and again. So for me, I just want to say about, okay, so we hear this about, I have got a large preferred client base and top sponsoring, top sponsoring, because I was very much, I started November 2007, and so can you imagine day one? And back in those days, there was really no system, there was no cars, there was no meetings, it was me with a piece of paper and a vision. And by the way, guys, I wasn't really very good. But I had faith and I had belief, and I just, for whatever reason, I knew I could do it. I just didn't know how. And that's really important. We talk about failing, Danny touched on failing. You know, you will fail forward. You know, the only reason you're a failure is if you quit, and you're not going to quit. So fail forward gloriously, because you don't know how you're going to get there. You just know you're going to get there. And that's part of the sense of adventure. That's the journey for all of us, is finding out, you know, how we learn, how we show up, how our belief system. You know, if you're a team of one, that's okay. You know, you share with people where you're going, and you're going to take them with you. So I was, at the beginning, I did have a little team, and then they left. So I became we talk about bricks and mortar, bricks being the business building and mortar being the preferred clients. Now, I know that Danny and Lorraine, very much business minded. I wasn't. I'm not saying that I'm not very bright, but I was a private in the army. So for me, I had no experience in business. And therefore, it was a completely new thing to me. So I was really into the products. I do have psoriasis, so that was me. So that's why I became so heavy. When I went area, I had 400 preferred clients, because it was easy to sell. It was easy to share these amazing products with people. Honestly, I could do it with my eyes shut, because my belief was so strong. So always, you know, being a product lover, recommend products. And I did it back in those days. I was recommending the products first and then the business second, and that was a massive mind shift to me. So if you're going out there in your business right now and you're about the products, well done, great. You know, you're going to do really well. You're going to get that residual income, because like when Lorraine said, people don't know if you're down the gym or with your children. They're just going to be online ordering, and they stay in your central, guys. So they're really great when you come to the incentive trips. They stay with you, you know, until obviously they will be a consultant one day. That's always my intention. If I sell a hand cream, just one thing, mascara, to a person, 6 months later, I'm looking to sponsor them into my business as a preferred client, and then 6 months later as a consultant, because it's building up rapport, it's building up trust, it's building up belief, okay? So that's what I did. And so by doing that, I basically would go there and I talk to everyone, and I have the business in my mind. But like Lorraine said, there's a difference between making friends first and business second, okay? So my intention is to meet that person as a friend. Now, I have something to offer them that they know nothing about. So therefore, I'm finding out by listening to what it is that, you know, and I find it so much easier to talk to people about business when they're at work themselves. So for example, I know Danny laughs, I have this thing where I have to speak to 3 people minimum a day, in Arbonne, because we're doing this all the time. We're not taking gaps out in our business. And so it was a Friday night. I'd only done 2 people, got in the taxi, and obviously taxi driver, spoke to him, sponsored him, and then I was out, and I love socializing, gives you a great excuse. Started talking to this girl, you know, in the toilet, and then sponsored her. And then the next morning, this is so embarrassing, I went to McDonald's because I had a really bad hangover and sponsored the person at McDonald's. So do you know what? It really, I'm not saying that you should go out there and just, you know, you are looking for caliber. For a long time, I was drinking champagne in the beer tent. Now I'm drinking, or should I say beer in the champagne tent. Now I've learned how to drink champagne. However, go practice. What I'm trying to say to you is, you know, we're not perfect. Go out there and ask, speak, practice, your verbatim. Because as you do that, it's going to be you're going to get so much better at the game. I can sponsor first meeting. I'll always set up a meeting, get their number. You know, if I can friend them on Facebook straight away, I will, because they're going to look at the lifestyle. And then I'll get it. And then when I get the number there and then from them, I call them straight away to make sure their number is ringing, so they have my number. I'm not waiting here. I'm doing it in the present. Remember everything in the present. And then I say, you've got my number. And then if we can make an arrangement to meet there, we do. If not, I'll text them within 24 hours, keep it in the present of their mind, meet up with them, give them the products and the bit about the business, you know, give them a third-party validation. I think that's massive. I like to send out Danny's link. She has 3 YouTube links. I think they're great coming from somebody else, so they can see it's real. And then I meet them up, and pretty much on that second proper meeting, I will sponsor them. That's it. You know, so go out there and practice, okay? A smile, great, Lorraine. A smile is your first, you know, yes or no. If somebody's not going to smile, would you want them to be in your team? Probably not, okay? So that's what I do. So it's a timeline, okay? So make those relationships. I also do cold calling. So I tend to I'm not the Facebook as much, being the X factor. So I'll go to magazines. I tend to do more women than men. I don't know why that is. I just feel more comfortable with this. But anyway, so I'll call and I will say to somebody, hi, I've seen you, tell them when I see the advert in the back of the magazine. I'm calling with something a little bit different because I know they're going to think that I'm looking for the business. So I want them to know straight away that I'm just calling with something a little bit different. And I'll say, I'm a local businesswoman like yourself, and I'm looking to meet up with people in the local area to see, you know, if we could perhaps, there may be, you know, some business for, we could help each other, or, you know, you can find out more about me and vice versa, or they may not. But are you open-minded? Would you be interested? And you know what? Pretty much I get a yes every single time. Now, I'm going to give you an example. There's this lady called Lucy, an architect, and I do a lot of networking anyway, events. And I met her. I mean, most people, I don't know what they look like when I meet them. And I just say, oh, I'll be the girl in the red dress or whatever, you know. And they're brave enough to come and see me. And then we talk. Now, this lady she didn't do skincare, you know. Now, I could have sat there thinking, oh, that was a waste. But actually, I knew that I was also wanting to help her. You know, if I can't help her with Arbonne, I can still help her with my knowledge base. I asked her, you know, how many people have answered the back of your advert in the magazine? I was the only one, okay? So I said to her, would you like to, I can help you to get out there into the marketplace, to come to live networking events. Would that be of interest to you? Yes, it was. So I invited her to a networking event. She came, she joined the event. I think maybe 8 months later, she bought one hand cream from me. And now she's actually buying the night cream. So we're getting there. That's her timeline, okay? Everybody's got different timelines, and you must be aware of that, because your job is to make friends, to help people. And yes, we have Arbonne to help them with, but sometimes, guys, you know, when they reject you, it's not you, it's them, because they just don't know. When you hear that word no, it's not an N-O, it's a K-N-O-W, no. Okay, it's the knowledge. That's all that is. It's not you, okay? And you know what? It's not going to be for everybody. Remember that too. But, you know, even if I'm going out and sponsoring the McDonald's lady worker, okay, doesn't matter. I don't judge people. You know why? Because in her social circle of influence, there's 200 people. And there may be that person there that's going to be amazing at the business. So keep it open. Never judge. Our job is not judge and jury. Throw those seeds out, and some will germinate and some won't. If somebody's the best toilet cleaner in the world, I want that person, because they take part in the job. They turn up. Yeah, they are. You know, they're doing something. You know, they're going out there and making most of what they have for this skill set. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly say, okay, networking events are great. Okay, so my top tips, 6. I know oh my God, we're like way over. Okay, number 1 is to use all the products. I'm going to be a product junkie, so I'm going to say this, because so you know how these products are. And at the beginning, guys, people get caught up. They don't feel they can do anything until they know everything. Forget that, okay? If you're using it, you know something about it. The catalog is your, oh my God, it's your dictionary, okay? Read about C. spirulina, C. carb, C. algae, whatever. Just read that. But when you're using something, you can talk from your personal experience. And that bell is ringing really brightly for people, because the belief is because you're real. You actually are using it. So go use that. And if you don't like your product, tough. Keep using it till you like, okay? I don't like deodorant. I'm way too smelly. You know, it doesn't work. But then Danny said to me, how many times are you using it? I'm like, 1 or 2. And she's like, no, maybe 20 will help. So actually
20 swipes. 20 swipes is the best deodorant ever.
It is, you know. So I'm happy.
Fiona, deodorant, remember the top tip? The cooling foot cream works a million times better than the deodorant. Yeah. Seriously. Yeah,
I'm on that. And the gelée as well. And the gelée. So guys, that's my top tip. If you don't like it, tough. You work it till you do like it, okay? Tough, all right? I still sweat, but I don't smell. It's okay. We're in charge of that. Okay, number 2.
I still can't drink the tea bags. I can't stand the tea bags.
Stick in with it.
All right. Number 2 is, for me, the biggest thing for me was changing the product first to business first. Okay, it was so easy to go with products. Would you like to try products for free? Who's going to say no? You know, I can get you a discount. Who's going to say no? It was so easy. But to me, my biggest thing was getting over that and change it to business first and then products. Because if you have to go in with the biggest thing, and then to me, the order goes, number 1 in podium is business and products. Yeah. And then number 2 is just your products. And then number 3 would be engaging, let's say, the products would be PC. So you've got consultant, PC, and then this person here would be a client hosting a workshop. That's number 1, 2, and 3. So go in at number 1, okay? And then follow up with 2 and 3. Number 3 would be listen. Oh my gosh, I'm awful at that. Well, no, I'm much better now. But that on and on and on. You know, you're so passionate day one. And it's horrible because if you guys are on this business and you're on this call, new in your business, and you get it, and then no one else gets it, like what the? You know, it's like hold on, she cancelled and she said no, and she said no. Remember, K-N-O-W, it's not really a no. You're just going to work on that. Like, you know, Lorraine said, you know, the baby boomers is going to take a little longer. That's okay. We love them so much. So you know what? It's okay. That whole kind of concept of panicking and thinking, you know, it's like, is it just me? It's just me. And then you've got to get out of that place. So please, when that happens, go listen to a recording of Debbie Neal. Go read 10 pages of your book. Speak to your upline. Speak to your sponsor. Say, you know, and they will help you, because I promise you, we've all been here. And I really want Lorraine to tell that story on the bus, Lorraine. Please, before we go, I'm sorry, guys. This will be worth it. She's going to do this in a minute. I know she is, because she did a recording when she first went region for us, and she didn't tell me the story, and it broke my heart. And that was the commitment level she needed to get to region. Okay. Number 4 is desire, to step into the pain, okay, of discipline, okay, and do that. I mean, I'm not being funny. It hurts, you know. I wasn't very good at reading. It hurts my head. Yeah, sorry, it's painful. Like, I don't understand these big words. Like, I'm like, oh, really? And it takes me, like Lorraine said, half an hour to text. Takes me an hour to read 10 pages. I'm not proud of that, guys, but I'm doing it, and it is getting easier, but it hurts my head, okay, because I'm reading stuff I've never even known about before, and it's like annoying, you know. Hence I didn't go to college or uni. But that's right. And the next thing is number 5 is keep asking. And I've done this order. Please, I've done this. I don't know if you can't see because I've got really scruffy handwriting. Could you write down business first, okay, and then the next one, write down products, okay, or PC, product PC, okay, and then the next one, write down a workshop or party, yeah, client, okay, and then do an arrow. So, hold a minute, business, product, workshop. Okay, so you've got it like that. So you've got business, product, workshop, and I want you to go an arrow like that. So business to product, product to workshop, and then come back on yourself, workshop to product, and product to business. You got that? Is that clear? What that means is you're sponsoring. So you're going in with the business. If they say no to the business, they can have the option say yes to the products and be a PC. If they say no to the products, you then take them onto the option of being a client and hosting a workshop. Then when they do that or not, or buy one product, then you get them back. So they do the one product, host a workshop. Then you get the option back to working them up to, thank you, Danny, the products and the PC being the middle one. And then once they've been using the products for 3 years, 4 years, like Lorraine said, you get them back to business. And even sometimes 8 years it took my bridesmaid up in Aberdeen, or Stonehaven, to join my team. 8 years. And by the way, when she did it, she became a district manager in 2 months and then quit. So even when that happens, don't worry about it. It's okay. Keep sponsoring. Keep sponsoring. Okay, because we'll have another Malteser moment. Buy boxes of these Maltesers, Mercedes moments, because it's okay. All right, it's normal. That's my number 5. And then my number 6. Every time you sell a product, please have an attitude of gratitude. Every time, you know, even the smallest thing you must be grateful for, because if you're in that state of gratitude, guess what? You're going to actually attract more of that. Okay? Every time you go, guess what? You're going to attract more of that too. Okay? So just have an attitude of gratitude. I remember I went to Street Manager my first month, November 2007, and then the second month, I didn't even know, I didn't know what I was doing, remember, and I only sold one product, Thermal Fusion. It was a intelligence range. It was for your face. They don't exist anymore, and I was so desperate to sell it, I didn't even give it full price. I gave it at my price. So one product I sold in December. I didn't, you know, and can I just say how grateful I was for that one product, because I'd sold a product. You know what? Kept me in the game. It wasn't much, but my attitude was right. And yours has to be right. And attitude is a combination here, guys. It's the way you show up, your thoughts and your feelings. It's like baking cake. You know, when you eat a great cake, you don't go, nice eggs, nice sugar, nice flour. You say great cake. It's the same thing with your attitude. It's your thoughts, your inner feelings, your emotions, the words. When your words are coming out your mouth, listen to people's words, because that's a lot about what's going on in their mind, and that's their attitude. Okay, so that's what you want. Okay, my gosh, I don't know if we have time for questions, guys. Lorraine, Danny, amazing call. What do you think? I'm thinking maybe you should wrap it up. I mean, we can always set up another Zoom for questions. How are you feeling?
I want Lorraine to share the story.
Yes, Lorraine.
The bus story, yes. Well, we know I didn't really, I had a driving license, but I never ever drove from the age of 18 until I got my Mercedes at 54, I think it was when I got it about a year ago. So I go everywhere, taxis mainly, and occasionally a bus. I thought, well, taxis are fine because you get to speak to a taxi driver, but on a bus there's a lot more people. So I stood somewhere having had a glass of wine in a lunchtime meeting, and there was a girl at the bus stop, and I thought she'd be great. And so I said, which bus number are you looking for? And she said a 10. I'm thinking, I've no idea where that damn bus goes, but I'm getting on it. And so I had to be somewhere else, and I got on the bus, and I stayed on it long enough to get her number and call her, and then she became a product user. And then I found myself somewhere thinking, well, quite clearly I'm not up on the bus. And then I got on another bus and I met somebody else. So you know what? Every cloud has a silver lining. So it doesn't matter if you're going the wrong way with your Arbor business the right way, something will happen and that cloud will have a silver lining. So just go with it.
Thank you, Lorraine. As long as the intention's there. And I know that when she was going region, you're on the bus and you dropped. It was Louise Bembo's at Tyne Arbonne, and I think your mom was your dad in hospital. Somebody was.
Yeah, both of us were. And so what happened was I had to be at the hospital every day for radiotherapy treatment, and my dad was also in oncology, and he was obviously much more sick than me. So I would make up Ion Arbonne packs. I would go to the back of the bus where no one was sitting, and that's why I say to you, make use of your time. So I'd go to the back of the bus. I'd have all the Ion Arbonnes, the clear pockets. I'd have CDs that I would be burning on a disc while I was drying my hair or whatever, and I would sit at the back of the bus putting them all in, and it stopped suddenly, and Louise Benbow's Ion Arbonne shot to the front, and this guy was about to put his size 13 or 14 shoe, he had big feet, on it. I said, don't step on Louise Benbow, she's beautiful, she's a regional vice president. And he looked at me like I was crackers, you know. What do you think wasn't normal about me? There you go.
I love it. Thank you, Lorraine. Oh, I love it. So guys, can you just see, be your regional vice president? Actually, don't be normal. Be, you know, status quo is not where we're at.
No. What we'll do, guys, is because I've got lots of questions too, so maybe we'll do, Danny, Fiona and I, we can do a little question list and swap our questions, you know, in a message to each other for our teams and get them back, so that we do have people. And I know this chat thing, you know, I'm a baby boomer, this chat thing's been going ballistic. If anyone's been messaging me, I'll just say thanks a lot. If you hate me, great, that's fine. If you like me, that's also fine. Either way, but you're all brilliant.
Everyone loves you, Lorraine.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, and if it's all Arbonne people in there, you know, we just like love the love. So it's fantastic, brilliant, cool. Just wow. I catch buses all the time on stream with my Mercedes. Alice, well done, Jones. Okay, we're gonna wrap up. Namaste. I love you guys. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Lorraine. It was a brilliant Zoom call. Everybody's energized. I don't need fizz sticks. Because this is fizz for me. So good night, everybody. God bless. Mwah. Good night.
Thank you, Fiona and Danny. Thanks a million. Bye.
Bye.
Because I'm happy I'm alone. If you feel like a home, if you feel like happiness is the truth.